The first major patch for Mortal Kombat 1 is finally here. Now, this did land technically a couple of days ago. However, the patch notes just went live last night for UK time. It seemed to roll out very closely to the PC patch. We didn't want to make a video on this until we knew exactly what had changed, which is why you're seeing this video right now. So some characters and cameos took a major hit, others have been slightly improved, and other characters remain very much the same. Will it change the meta much? That remains to be seen, but what we do know is that there are a bunch of changes. So, one by one, let us focus on the characters and cameos, and we'll go over them one at a time. The first change is not character specific, but it is game changing to the meta. This one is all about flawless block. Usually, when you would flawless block an attack, you are protected from the chip damage for the duration of the block string, but it never used to do anything to stop the meter build from the aggressor. This has been changed. If you were to now flawless block Raiden, who goes into Storm Cell, down back 3 for example, usually he would build half a bar for this. Now, if you flawless block anything, the opponent for the duration of their block string cannot build meter. This is a massive hit to aggressive chip damage and plus frames based gameplay, and will further reward you for a successful flawless block. I will quickly state what the patch notes mean by out-of-synced animation, because that's something that actually comes up quite regularly. When you use an attack and use a cameo to interrupt it, essentially, that is what this is called. So when a certain attack is used, you call in a cameo to interrupt it. That is where the out-of-synced animation scaling will apply. The first actual character we're going to talk about is Ashura. She received very few changes. Soaring Demon towards front kick can no longer be 2-in-1 cancelled when up blocked, and also fixed a visual issue that would cause the opponent to have an incorrect animation after being hit by Spirit Slice and not inputting any actions for a period of time. Ashura was strong before, and now with her competition becoming a bit weaker, I would say Ashura could be top 5. Up next is Baraka, who received a hefty amount of changes, mostly regarding to damage scaling. Stab Stab has increased combo damage scaling when hit out of synced animation. Chop Chop has increased combo damage scaling with the exact same thing. Adjusted the victim regions when stand blocking and up blocking. This is because some characters would whiff their attacks versus Baraka. Now, this is no longer the case. And also fixed several issues with Bleeding Foot, which is his back 3, which could cause him to go outside the boundaries of the arena, move to unexpected locations when it's interrupted, and causing characters to pass through him with attacks. The back 3 used to be almost unwhiff punishable because if you hit this move, he would essentially teleport back to where the move started. This is no longer the case. So across the board, Baraka is doing less damage on his own, combined with various cameos, and his back 3 having that really strange issue is no longer present. General Shao is all bug fixes. Fixed an issue that could cause Axe to become permanently inactive if he loses a round while performing Axe Quake or Axe Recall. Fixed an issue that could cause Axe to become permanently inactive if his opponent uses Shujinko's Copycat while it's planted from Power Strike. Fixed an issue which was causing all special moves to do less block damage than expected, and fixed visual effects during a Fatal Blow startup. Shao hasn't received any buffs here that we can tell, but the bug fixes have made him a lot more reliable, and the Shujinko bug is no longer present. Geras has received a few changes. Shattered Sands, aka 122 Grab, has increased combo damage scaling when hit and out of synced animation. History Lesson has increased combo damage scaling when hit out of synced animation. Interrupting History Lesson now causes combo damage scaling to be applied, and fixed an issue with Redo, which could cause it to no longer rewind Geras to his marked location when he is hit after certain attacks. Fixed an issue that allowed Geras to block during the recovery of Redo in certain situations. Fixed inconsistency with direction of hit reactions when Geras and Time Clone are on opposite sides of the opponent during double time. Fixed a visual issue when Geras is defeated while using Redo. Fixed an issue with glowing eye color not changing based on selected palette, and the AI will now execute Time Clone attacks while double time is active. Additionally to Geras, it seems that his 1-2-2 grab has extra damage scaling added, so it doesn't do as much damage as it once did. Havoc. Bloodbath has increased combo damage scaling when hit and out of synced animation. Interrupting Scab Stab will now cause combo damage scaling to be applied. Fixed an issue with Corpse Taunt, which would allow the opponent to block follow-up attacks in certain circumstances. Corpse Taunt hit reaction will no longer execute if hitting the opponent while they're under the effects of Time Stop, and fixed several end-of-round taunt visual issues. One of the more interesting examples in this list is Johnny Cage. Not because he received changes, but because he received no changes. The two issues that are fixed in his patch notes are related to bugs. One, about show-off that could cause down and back punch attacks for some characters to recover excessively slow, and a repeating sound effect issue in fatality practice. Outside of that, Johnny Cage has received no changes. Another top-tier character that got away with very little differences is Kenshi. Enhanced spiritual alignment while using Shujinko Mimic to no longer allow two ancestors to be active at the same time. Fixed a visual issue with Kenshi's sword not appearing as your customized sword during Ancestral Assist, and fixed a lingering visual issue with some end-of-round taunts. Adjusted audio during his jump and back punch, and fixed cameo UI flickering when cameo gauge is set to refill in practice mode while Ancestor is active. Basically, it doesn't seem like there's anything going on here except the Shujinko change, to not have two ancestors active. One change that Kenshi did receive that is not in this list that I could find is that his forward throw while the ancestor is active will now become a regular shove instead of a cameo throw. Some people initially called this a nerf. I think it's a buff. Kenshi getting free Sento stance pressure because he hit a forward throw in the corner? Surely that's got to be something a Kenshi player would much rather have than a standard throw. Kitana. Fancy Strike, back 1, hit reaction adjusted, and now has positive hit advantage. And her high heel, front kick, has its hit reaction adjusted and again has positive hit advantage. Something I've seen Kitana players talk about on social media this morning is that they think that a jump kick string in the air is different to what it was before. I've seen some players do this as an air-to-air or a meaty on the ground and turn it into a down one for a follow-up combo. I'm unsure if she had that before, but on the off chance this is something new, I decided to mention it here. By all means, let me know in the comments if this is old news. Kung Lao. Hat toss hit reaction adjusted and now has positive hit advantage when done up close. Downward slice towards back punch no longer has 10 more frames of block stun if flawless blocked compared to regular block, and slightly increased combo damage scaling after enhanced Shaolin Shimmy. That is his armored reversal. The hat toss gaining more plus frames when done up close has assisted in some combos. Something like a string into hat toss into sector up missile previously was either not possible or very, very tight, and now works as an extender. The only two changes Li Mei received in these notes are two visual bugs. All of them have been fixed, and Li Mei, in general, is basically unchanged. Melina has a collection of visual bug fixes applied to this patch, but more importantly, two instances where she has increased combo damage scaling with out-of-synced animation. First of all is her ballerinal failure, back punch, front punch, and front kick. That has increased scaling, as does her enhanced bull roll. The out-of-synced animation, to remind you all, is when a cameo comes in or something attacks them with an animation that is not part of what she's doing already. So, in the instances where she would go into huge damage, she now gets a little bit less. One of the few base characters to actually receive a buff in this patch is Nitara. Her Blood Sacrifice, her enhanced version of her self-damage to set up a heal attack, will now do a measly 5 damage to her instead of 50. The other issues fixed are visual issues, or bugs in general, one of which fixing an issue causing all special moves to do slightly less block damage than expected. fixed an issue that was causing enhanced air dash to be used instead of basic air dash if hit by a breaker or ending a combo under certain circumstances, and adjusted audio during quick taste. Overall, Nitara is now a character that is more in line with the glass cannon design. Although she has less HP than most, she now has more access to heal in a more viable way, so her ability to sustain herself has gone way up. Much like Baraka, another character that's received a lot of damage scaling is Raiden. Lightning Strikes, which is your back and back punch, has increased combo damage scaling when hit out of synced animation. Shocker has increased combo damage scaling with out of synced animation. Increased combo damage scaling on enhanced Shocker. Electric Fly has increased combo damage scaling when hit out of synced animation. Double Take and the He Can Slap, two different jump strings, have their hit reaction adjusted, and then Whirlwind, jump, back punch, and back kick, damage and hit reaction adjusted. So Raiden's air strings have all received changes to their animation or hit reaction, and the rest of it is pure damage scaling. Raiden works similar to before, but he's just not hitting as hard as he used to. Rain, my favorite. Water Dragon, jump, front punch, back kick, and back punch has its hit reaction adjusted. Rain God hit reaction adjusted. This means that when you hit an opponent with the lightning strike attack, instead of flying backwards in the air, they fly straight up. This works better for combos if the opponent is grounded, but it has altered the combos if the opponent is already juggled. This different reaction does take some getting used to, but it's not the end of the world. Fixed an issue with Overcast and Downpour, two of his jump strings, that do not allow cameo ambushes or special cancels to be performed. His Drizzle, Jump 2, is now vulnerable to up block, so the bug there has been fixed. Fixed an issue with Upflow sometimes hitting behind Rain and can no longer sometimes cause a lingering hitbox when interrupted with specific timing. Fixed Rain God, Ancient Trap, Geyser, and Enhanced Geyser not displaying Punish when hit during recovery frames, and fixed a rare audio issue that could cause the opponent's sound effects to be distorted for a short time if Rain's throw is interrupted. Reiko, Savage Siege, back kick, front kick has its hit reaction adjusted. Interrupting Pale Rider now causes combo damage scaling to be applied. Fixed an issue with Full Cross, which is his jump back punch, into Busted Knuckles, which is his front punch, causing Straight Punch to execute instead, and fixed a rare issue that could cause the AI to get stuck endlessly jumping if Fatal Blow misses. Reptile, Tipping the Scales, jump, front punch, back punch has its hit reaction adjusted. Death Roll has increased combo damage scaling when hit out of synced animation. Enhanced Invisibility now causes Reptile to become harder to see faster than base invisibility. Fixed an issue which would prevent Fatality Attempt if last round is won by hitting a grounded opponent with Force Ball, and fixed incorrect blood color appearing when hit by certain attacks and brutalities. Some unlisted changes with Reptile in these patch notes is that Force Ball seemingly scales less, Airborne 233 has had its damage increased, and the standard invisibility, although the EX is faster, the standard version is a bit slower. The only changes Scorpion received were adjustments to two of his jump strings, Jump 1-2 and Jump 1-4, both of which have their hit reaction adjusted. It does mean that various combos that you used to do have to be either timed differently or performed differently. The only other change is fixing an issue with his rope disappearing if hit by a freeze reaction during various attacks. Scorpion now, having slightly different combos but no changes, leaves him where he was before, with sadly a worse Cyrax cameo. Sindel fixed a situation where Levitate used multiple times in a combo could lead into an attack becoming unblockable. This is a longer way of saying that the Sindel Infinite has now been removed. The other changes are fixed visual issues and audio effects, so overall Sindel is supposedly exactly the same with her Infinite taken out of the game. Quick note here, I'm fairly certain I was doing the Infinite wrong in this clip, however I was never really a Sindel player and the important thing is it's gone. Shang Tsung has seen a collection of changes, some of them bug fixes, other are changes to his jump attack strings, and the others are meter build. Major Complications and Festering Wounds, both of which are his jump attack strings, have their hit reaction adjusted. Injection has increased combo damage scaling when hit and out of synced animation. His ground skull and the air version of this move will build less super meter on hit. Invisibility moves used during Form Stealer will no longer sometimes prevent Shang Tsung from returning to his base form. The classic down back punch brutality can now be performed when morphed into the opponent, and the others are fixed face animations, various situations of incorrect animation, and AI situations being stuck in various forms for the rest of the match. Smoke is relatively unchanged, although there are two bug fixes: a rare visual issue when doing special cancels causing blood effects to move erratically, and a rare visual issue with Smoke Bomb where smoke briefly appears again after disappearing. The mechanical change is that Smoke Bomb will no longer ignore combo damage scaling on its final hit. Previously, this did an unscaled set amount, and now it is more in line with the rest of the combo. Jump attacks after enhanced smoke port no longer have extra recovery occasionally is the final change here. So smoke is relatively the same, although his smoke bomb now has proper damage scaling. Very few changes to Sub-Zero. The Ice Clone will no longer disappear when teleported by his own cameo. Fixed an issue which could sometimes cause cameo wake-up or reversal invulnerability to no longer appear with its visual effect, and fixed visual issues when hitting cameos with deadly vapors. One change has been made to his enhanced Ice Clone, where the opponent will take one hit and fall out of it. This has already been confirmed to be a bug, so hopefully this won't be in the game for too long. Quite a few little changes to Tanya. Her front punch, back punch, and back punch has slightly increased range, has 2 more active frames, recovers 2 frames faster on miss, and has a different hit reaction when hitting an airborne opponent. Her Air Heavenly Hand has increased hitbox when used in a combo, and the hit reaction changed when hitting an airborne opponent. Her front kick, front punch, and front kick has increased combo damage scaling when hit out of synced animation. Message from above: back punch, and front kick is now vulnerable to up block. Fixed an issue that could sometimes cause spinning splits kick to pass through opponents. The different versions of Heavenly Hand are no longer throw immune during some of their recovery frames. Fixed Seeking Guidance and the various Heavenly Hands not displaying punish when hit during recovery frames. Fixed visual issues with Divine Protection while under the effects of Sub-Zero cameos Arctic Armor, and fixed lingering visual effect issues that could sometimes occur after Seeking Guidance. That's everything for the base roster, and now let's talk about the cameo changes. One thing I want to mention straight away is that various cameos that could loop the same cameo assist more than once in a combo have overall had a change where their cooldown delay is bigger than it once was. So any cameo that can double up their cameo assists for one combo will now be nerfed compared to what they were before. We start off with Cyrax in this list, and that's rather fitting. I'm sure he's the cameo you're mostly here for in the first place. It says, adjusted combo damage scaling on both versions of the Copter Chopper. Cancelling Copter Chopper into horizontal will now cost 50% more of cameo gauge. This means the horizontal version of Chopper uses the entire meter. However, the horizontal version of the Chopper now has a slightly faster recharge speed, as it can only be used when you have full gauge. Both versions of the Chopper will no longer sometimes cause the wrong reaction facing direction on hit. And finally, fixed a camera issue when using the Copter Chopper during some characters' throws. Darius no longer lingers around if the round ends while he's waiting to perform Eat Dirt, and fixed a clipping issue during forward throw on some arenas. Now, one thing that I haven't seen in the patch notes, but I do think is in the game, as various players of different characters with Darius have confirmed, it does seem that Darius causes more combo damage scaling if his neutral cameo, the one that causes both bars of your gauge, is used. Reiko Darius is not doing the same damage it once did, although it's still very high, and other characters that have used Darius as the cameo have also reported slightly increased combo damage scaling when using this move. Frost fixed an issue that could cause Ice Carpet to move the opponent high in the air if they're close to the ground in certain circumstances. The following cameos have only had their change in line with the looped cameo assist. Goro increased recharge delay of Raise the Roof when used more than once in the same combo. Jax slightly increased recharge delay of Backbreaker when used more than once in the same combo. Kano, slightly increased recharge delay of knife toss when used more than once in the same combo. Kung Lao cameo, adjusted the recharge rate of Buzzsaw. It is slightly slower now, but it's still fast for what it provides you, so it hasn't been nerfed too bad. Buzzsaw will no longer sometimes cause the wrong reaction facing direction on hit. Spin no longer has an incorrect hit reaction when done as a reversal. The spin as a reversal used to launch the opponent, now it doesn't launch at all. And fixed a situation where Away We Go was used 3 times in a combo, it could lead to an attack becoming unblockable. Motaro fixed an issue where Motaro could still be interacted with by the opponent if they jump over tail shot. Punish message now appears if the character is hit during recovery of charge. Fatal blow. Fixed a situation where if Centurion Warp was used 3 times in a combo, it could lead to an attack becoming unblockable. Serena is essentially the perfect version of what she's designed to do now. Increase the recharge delay of the double knife assist when used more than once in the same combo, sure, but fixed an issue allowing an opponent to gain super meter while being hit by Chataka's curse. Fixed a long delay that could sometimes occur after Serena performs her end of round taunt. Overall, Serena is doing exactly the same thing she was doing before, but now her meter drain spell completely prevents the opponent from building any bar. That is a huge change. Scorpion cameo has one change: increased recharge delay of fire breath when used more than once in the same combo. Sector, increased recharge delay of the up missile and homing missile when used more than once in the same combo, and fixed a rare visual issue during Fatal Blow. Sonya, slightly increased recharge delay of square wave and leg grab when used more than once in the same combo. Striker, increased recharge delay of both grenades when used more than once in the same combo, and low grenade and high grenade will no longer sometimes cause the wrong reaction facing direction on hit. And finally, my boy, Shujinko. Copycat Ice Slide with Sub-Zero will now do 110 damage, up from 30. Mimic Time Stop from Geras will now cause a different hit reaction if the victim has already been hit by Time Stop in the same combo. This means you can only get 1 Time Stop per combo. The Mimic Stab from Baraka now does correct damage to an airborne opponent. Melina's Roll, Tanya's Drill Kick, and Reiko's Charging Pain, the Sand Nado from Geras, will no longer sometimes cause alternate hit reactions when used in certain combos with Shujinko's Mimic. Fixed using Smoke's invisibility followed by Fatal Blow causing lingering invisibility preceded by reappearing with no visual effects. Shujinko morphing into a Shang Tsung opponent cameo will no longer cause himself to get stuck near the corner in certain rare situations. Fixed a visual issue when performing Copycat against Havoc. Fixed an issue during enhanced fights which could cause Copycat and Mimic to not work as intended after the first opponent. One change to Shujinko, which is listed as an overall change, but one that has arguably nerfed him the most, is that when Shujinko gets hit during Meditate, or when he's out in general, he used to not suffer the same cooldown reduction. I mentioned this in a previous Shujinko video. I guess that was a bug, because now when he gets hit, he suffers the same cooldown penalty the other cameos do. So using Shujinko as a shield in a projectile war is no longer particularly valid. And that is it for this current patch of Mortal Kombat 1. There may be some stuff that I have not mentioned here that may not have been in the patch notes, but overall I hope this video was useful to you. As I said, I didn't want to have to remake this video, and I didn't want to have to make a second one. I was much happier to wait for the patch notes and read them accordingly because, like I said, I just don't want to forget anything. And if I have done, please let me know in the comments section. I want to make a video where I talk overall about my opinions on this patch. I have various opinions I'd like to share for sure. So, overall, take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time in the next video. Thank you so much, and goodbye.